Hey guys, Sharina from Sassy Seamstress, and this is part 4 of the series I'm doing on the Simplicity dress designed by Liam Marshall. It is 1877, and in this section we'll actually cover the all of the last details and putting the dress together. In part 1 we did the top and the skirt of the lining, and then in part 2 and 3 we actually did the outer facing part of the dress with the ruffles. And so this one will combine the two pieces and we'll put in the zipper and all of those last little details. Okay, so step 1 is we are actually going to pin your lining to the front side of your dress. You're going to pin right side to right side, only along the neckline. You're not going to pin the armholes. So we'll do that, and then we'll do a straight line stitch, and we'll go from there. So I finished pinning the neckline of the dress, and now we're just going to sew in the seam. Okay, so once you're done sewing your neck seam, you're going to turn it right side in, so your lining should be now on the inside, and you have your outer facing garment. And then you want to just go ahead and press all of the seams that you just sewed so that they're nice and flat, and just work your way through. And then we will move on to the armholes. Okay, so to make the armhole, we are actually going back to steps 8 and 9 in the instructions. And what I've gone ahead and done is just actually pinned the armhole. So you have your lining on this side and your outer facing material, and I'll just do a 1/4 inch seam basted around the armhole, and then it has actually a pattern to cut out for the arm binding, but to save myself the headache of trying to iron and create a bias out of this crepe material, I actually went ahead and bought just this bias tape. And it'll end up doing the same deal, and I happen to luck out with the correct color. So, but first we'll go ahead and baste both of the arms. Okay, so to create the armhole with the basting, what I've done is opened up the basting so that the right side is pinned to the right side. I have my raw edges here, so I'm taking that the 1/4 inch folds that's already been created and pinning that right along the basted seam that I did of the armhole. So I will just follow that again, making a straight line stitch all the way around the arm, and then this will end up wrapping around and we'll sew it again. Okay, so now that you've sewn the bias tape to the edge, this is my raw edge here, the next step is just to fold over the tape and then over one more time, like that. And we'll pin this all along the edge so that it's pretty small, it's a 1/4 inch, and we'll do a straight line stitch all the way around. So I'll go ahead and start rolling this over the edge and pinning it. So as a completed armband, that's what you end up getting, and you have just one small stitch, and that's the fold over with the lining on the inside. Okay, so the next step is to put in the zipper, but before we actually even get to that, I am going to baste this seam, the lining and your outer piece together. It just makes it easier when you're putting in the zipper so that your materials aren't sliding back and forth. Okay, so we are almost ready to put in our zipper. Woohoo! But before we do that, as you can see, when you get them out of your package, they're usually, they've got little creases in them from being all like scrunched up and stuff. So you want to be really careful, and you want to do it on the wrong side. So let me actually show you. This is an invisible zipper. So you can't actually see the teeth. That's basically what it means. So this is the wrong side. This is the right side. So when you open it up, grab it and pull it open, you want to lay it down flat and iron the wrong side, like that. But be really careful because the teeth are plastic and they will melt. So just do as best as you can with ironing, but don't get overly zealous. Okay, so now that we have our zipper ironed, we're going to start placing it on the edge of our dress. And we are going to do raw edge of the zipper to raw edge of the dress. And it is right side to right side. So let me show you this again. This is the right side, no teethies showing. This one, teeth are up. So we're just going to, this right about here, you probably can't see, but there's a little notch at the top that shows you where the zipper stops. And we're just going to place that up there. And I'm going to just work my way down with pinning it. Make sure you really do raw edge to raw edge. I've done this a couple times where I get it all pinned up and I'm like, oh man, I did the wrong side. So take your time with doing zippers. They are both easy and sometimes confusing. All right. Okay, so I have my zipper pinned up here and we are ready to go. Now I can't find my zipper foot anywhere, so I'm actually having to just use a regular foot, but it can be done. You just have to be careful and make sure that you are stitching like right next to the teeth as you work your way down. So not quite as easy, but it still can be done. Okay, so zipper in, as you can see, like that, which this is a very different way of putting it in than I'm used to, but following the directions. The next step is, so you have this bottom part that's not connected to the bottom of the dress. So the last thing to do is actually just to create, kind of, I guess, fold it back in on itself, right side to right side, and pin your edges, your raw edges, and sew a seam. So step 23 was actually to finish off the hem of the skirt. So I just rolled it under and did a straight line stitch. This is a serge seam. If it looks different, I have a serger, so it was just a nice way of finishing off. But you can also do your diagonal stitch just along the edge, and that'll finish off the seam. Or I'm sorry, that'll finish off the raw edge, and then you can roll it under and do a straight line stitch. But the last steps, 24 and 25, are actually just to tack your flounces. So your front ones, to keep the shape of them when they fold down, is to actually, you want to fold the points towards the center, so kind of down like this, and you're going to take just your top pieces on the inside and just kind of pin them up like that, and you'll make just a small tack here and here like that on the sides, and this will just keep the shape of the dress. So here is the final piece done. I finished tacking up the flounces on the front and on the side, and it turned out actually really great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please feel free to leave any comments or questions down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to keep trying to put stuff up. This was kind of more of a serious piece of making a dress, but I do a lot of costume stuff, so hopefully my next piece that I put up will be more costumey style.